Hello and welcome to this edition of Crossover. I'm Ji Xiaojun with David and Dominic.
Great to be here.
Welcome to Crossover. Now, it seems everything is going online.
It is.
This is indeed an internet age, and
the show is online.
It is available online, but still it's available on TV as well. So not solely online. Yeah. Now, what about this one? Because we've heard about this hourly workers. This is huge because, you know, you might have someone to help you clean the house once a week, say several hours once. So the ones that you order, the helpers that you get, are normally the ones you can find in those companies, you know, those agencies. But now what we are talking about is this online hourly workers. You order a service online. What they'll do is they'll just come to your place, wherever your place is, clean the house or just finish the job that you ask them to do, and you pay them online as well, because we have this online paying machine, so you don't have to see each other to finish the whole contact.
Fantastic. It's all about not seeing people.
Minimizing human contact.
We don't want human contact, yeah.
Right,
it's almost like we're going back into the womb and we've got this kind of umbilical cord which is online, and we're just, we won't have to meet anyone in the future.
That sounds
good. This show will be done online. I'll be on a TV screen here.
We don't have to travel all the way to this one location. We can always do it actually at home, separately. That's what I want to do, actually. What do you think of this idea?
What are you saying about me?
What do you think of this idea? Everything online hourly workers, online service, online payment.
It's a part of a trend. This has been going on for some time. Even to the point, it's quite astounding to me that people, you don't have to go to a supermarket or a grocery store.
They will send it to you.
They send it to you. You don't have to go to a restaurant. Now you don't need to go out and look for a job. You can do it online.
Everything's online.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. I don't really like it. I like meeting people. I like being out. And even the way that you work or interact with the interface now is you don't even have to move. You just talk.
Right.
Right? So it is literally going back into the womb and having this umbilical cord where it just connects and just, it's scary.
You sit there and become like a big baby.
Yeah, you become a big fat baby and you just look at things and talk.
It's sort of like this cartoon I saw that said dating, and it had this picture, of two people going out walking in the park hand in hand. It said, now there's a computer, earphones, and a mouse online. Reading books, holding a book. How we do it now, a computer, a mouse, online. So it's like all the activities we used to do that involve getting out, doing things with other people is now a computer, earphones, online.
Have you seen roulette dating online?
No.
That is where you get put into this sort of system, you press a button, and it takes you to someone of the opposite sex.
Ah, yes, I know what you're talking about.
And you have like 5 minutes to talk with them. And it's scary to say the least.
It's just like speed dating, but but over online.
Yeah, and you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a man when you think it's a woman.
But sometimes you have to say, it's rather convenient for us to order the service online, that you don't have to travel, you don't have to walk to those agencies, and you can just order all these services online.
This, by the way, I think it's happening in the U.S. I've been here in China for so long, but I think it's even more advanced in China than it is in the U.S. Things like buying things like books and electronic equipment and things. I work at a university here in Beijing, and every day when I go out to the main gate, there are all of these couriers, delivery people, with stacks and stacks of things from Vankel or Amazon, these different companies.
That's right.
And they're all waiting, and people are coming out. They're not going to stores to buy anything anymore. They just buy it online.
The big purchasing time now in China is lunchtime.
Yep,
all of the people, and especially a lot of the women in offices and their lunch breaks, are buying stuff.
Right.
And it got so out of control with so many offices, and it happened in my office too, that so many parcels were arriving that it got too much.
Let's talk about the services available online. And here is actually one company providing the service of what is called in Chinese, 爱的聆听, that means listening to you. And that's the service they're trying to sell. And they charge people for like 21 yuan for half an hour's service of listening to you talk.
Oh, I could do with some of that.
And here is also one service offered by one of these senior students in Zhejiang University of Science and Technology. And basically what she offers is to talk to people. And she successfully sold in 30 days 171 items of talking commodities. Basically, she just talks to people.
So she's like a kind of counselor of sorts. It's just like if you're upset, you want someone to talk to, someone to listen. That's kind of nice, you know, as long as you're a good listener.
Well, isn't in some sense a psychotherapist just like a very advanced paid listener?
Yeah, that's
I mean,
it.
very often you pay them a lot of money. Now you just do it online. What's
So
the
they're
difference?
working like this psychiatrist.
I could do that online. You just set up some answers like, tell me more about that.
Oh, you poor thing.
He must have felt terrible.
Yeah.
When was that again? You know, you could just have a whole conversation.
To kill time.
Yeah.
Right.
No, but seriously, I mean, what's the difference between... The only difference is that it's not in the same room, that they react, the interrelation is.
And people are getting used to that now anyway, not being in the same room, right? So
Now,
it's a...
I mean, all these kind of services, because they can be provided online, and the service can be done online, so it's just fine. But if you're talking about, say, cleaning your house, and you're ordering the service online, you're trying to send someone that you've never met before to clean your house, that's going to be an issue, because you don't really know these people, and security is always a concern.
I think as long as you have a strong brand, you know, and you have reputation, people will start to buy into it, and then you'll just see it go crazy. I mean, it's always difficult when you first think about how can you get around something like that. But someone gets around it, and then the word spread, and they, you know, they have all the right contracts and things in place, and you build a good brand, and then it goes crazy.
It's actually more risky probably to just see some place in a neighborhood and you say, can you come to my house and help me move some things? You don't know if it's going to be there. If you've got an internet presence and you know, phone numbers, you got phone numbers to trace you, maybe it's a little more reliable, I don't know.
Well, China has the largest population of internet users now in the world.
That's right.
That's right.
And, I mean, it's only getting more common these days that we rely even more on online services.
But also people here are more accepting of new things. I mean, you know, if you gave my mother a smartphone or an iPhone, she would look at it with a blank face and say, what? And how would I deal with this? There's an old retired lady in my apartment block who just got an iPhone, and she's already downloaded apps on it that I haven't downloaded yet. And she's like, look, what I can do with this? And I can listen to the radio with this. And she's not frightened at all. And I think with the internet and with these services and these, you know, that they're offering, that I'd say people in England are going at a much slower rate. Here, people just buy into it. They enjoy it, you know? And so I think that it's kind of endless. It's almost like...
Now, talking about this online service, remember we have these online stores, and sometimes in order to promote the sales of their goods, and they will introduce that campaign of set kill. That means the goods will be available in a very short period of time.
4 hours.
Lower second kill, very low price, but you can only do it in that amount, say 4 hours or even half an hour. If you got the chance, you get it. If you lose it, you lose it.
Yeah.
But you know, because we are not professional buyers online, so we don't know how to do it. But there are some professional online buyers.
They'll find you the cheapest price for the product that you want to buy.
That's right.
That's fantastic. You know, and talking about everybody staying at home and shopping on the internet, Taobao, who's the biggest online store in China, probably in the world now, it's a bit like an eBay, but even better. They did a range of adverts last year where it was just showing cities that were empty. Not a single person on the street, and then it was just like, you know, we've got a sale coming on. You know, it's very clever because they do these massive sales, but every brand is 50% off.
Take a look at this one. This is more about an online game. I remember playing the field online and planting all these, you know.
That was huge.
Yeah,
That's what got Kai Xing going, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what they do is basically they'll take care of the online field for you. Basically, they play the online game in your name, you know, on your behalf.
There's a lot of that. Yeah, with the World of Warcraft, you know, where you build an army and a sword. You've got people that play for you all day to build your sword.
I think that's just brilliant, actually, to set up a business model where you're actually selling things that don't exist. You're selling conceptual pieces of things that don't even exist in the real world.
We'll come to a specific example, actually, in a second part of this program. So let's take a break first, and when we come back, we're going to talk about this, you know, professional dealers or professional service providers of something that do not exist, actually, in the real world. We'll be right back.
What
You're
is
watching
real?
Crossover. Welcome back to Crossover. So let's continue our discussion about this online lifestyle. Well, before the break, we talked about this online services. It's more about this, say, hourly service, hourly workers. About this one, professional gamers, because online game is so popular these days, and all kinds of different kinds of online games. It's like it's virtual figures, but it's controlled by real people sitting in front of these computers.
That's right.
So people-to-people contact online in those games are the real people talking to each other. It's only in the virtual world. But in the virtual world, you have your gadgets, you have your weapons, you have your outfits, the things that you do not own in the real world, but you can have in that virtual world. So what's also happening these days, you sell your stuff in that virtual world. You can sell your weapons, you can sell your outfits, you can sell whatever you have, a gadget, online.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, a big one in the West was Second Life. The Swedish developers of this game, I spoke to about 2-3 years ago about selling the images from the T-shirts that I create in the world. And, you know, I would get, you know, 0.0001 of a US cent per design on each T-shirt in this fake world.
That's okay with volume if you get
Exactly.
10 million people
because
doing it.
you don't have to do anything. You just give them the design and you hope that people buy it. But there's people in Second Life who are making millions. There's a property developer who's actually based in Shanghai, an American guy, who was making upwards of $1 million a year selling property on Second Life. Virtual property. He was building homes for people, which could normally take you a lot of time and a lot of money to do. He'd create them for you, and you could move in, and you would have your courtyard house or your villa house, and everything, all the amenities and everything's there.
Now, there are two different business models over here. One is, because if I'm the player of that online game, but I'm not that good, but you're the professional, you know how to play the game, I'll hire you to play the game on my behalf, for me. So in that case, you win the weapons, all these gadgets, all these outfits for me. I hire you, I pay you for your service for those hours, but whatever you've earned in that online game, they belong to me.
Yeah.
I think now we've touched over, we've stepped over into the domain of psychosis. It's psychotic. Because, I mean, the point of a game is to actually test your skill.
Fun, right?
To have fun and actually test your skill.
In the process.
If you're hiring someone to play for you, because you're so fixated on getting gains inside this virtual world, you're a little bit confused. I mean, the mind is not working quite right.
How miserable we are in the real world. That's what it comes down to, right, doesn't it? I mean, in China now, you can go into little convenience stores, xiaomaibus, as they're called, and, you know, 15 years ago, there'd be an old guy sat there listening to the radio. Now, there's people playing World of Warcraft in there, and they're communicating with other people all around the world on World of Warcraft.
Well, we're lamenting all this, but let me just inject something that my daughter sometimes reminds me about, right? Which is, you know, the point of a lot of these things, like games, especially things like card games, right? In a way, I mean, there's something to be said for humans sitting around playing poker. But on the other hand, most of the fun of the game is the intellectual and sort of exercise that we call the mental games, or, you know, psychological games, where you're just seeing the play of chance and all this kind of stuff. It's almost as fun. My wife sits and plays poker or cards online with 4 different people that she doesn't know. They're all playing online too, and she can do it by the hour because it's fun. Just that interaction. You don't really need to see the people or know who they are in order to have this contest of wits with them, right? And the same is true of things like talking online. We are actually, you know, people who have intellects, spirit, soul, these sort of things. We talk about things like platonic love. That, you know, it's more important, you know, the mental, the emotional contact, not the spiritual, not the physical, right? And my daughter will remind me of this. You know, he says, you know, look, the friendship, the love, the interest, the concern are all there. We don't have to see each other face to face to have a real emotional attachment online, she says, right? And of course, she's right. So maybe we're going too far, and maybe this is just a natural extension of this kind of play of the sort of the virtual world is our imaginations, our spirits, our souls, our minds in this world. And maybe it's not so much a step backwards as it is just a step forward into a new kind of a pure area. I'm not saying it doesn't have its risks or that we lose something along the way, but maybe this is some new world where we can actually play World of Warcraft, and there's maybe nothing wrong with that if we're concerned with that aspect of it.
Maybe, David, you're thinking too much about this issue as a philosopher, as a PhD. But basically...
Get out.
That's okay. There's someone out there online listening to my words now, and they're being influenced by me.
Can we bring in someone who isn't so smart, please?
But the thing is, I mean, these gamers, they're only trying to have fun, and the way that they can their fun is trying to play the game next time with a better weapon.
Ah.
Now, this could be an online game club, and because remember I mentioned 2 different business models, and here is another one. They have these professional gaming, say, companies. These are these professional players. They play these games very well, so they can win all these weapons, outfits, or whatever they can win in those games.
These are all playing for somebody else?
No, they can win those gadgets and weapons. They can actually sell it to other players online. They make a profit. The company makes a profit.
You know, guys, we're sounding very old right now because this kind of stuff has been going on quite a long time.
Yeah.
And you speak to young people about buying weapons from other people.
They've known this about this for a long time.
They've known this for a long time, yeah. I mean, for us, it's a phenomenon. Sure, for our age group, born in the 70s and the 60s, you know what I mean? But for us, it's like, how is this possible? Someone's buying a sword on eBay that doesn't exist for $10,000. This kind of stuff goes on. It is. It's absolutely insane. But, what you said really has weight. It's an advancement. And at the end of the day, more communication is always good. More people talking is always a better thing for the world, right? But
that's right.
Where's it all going? It's, it's got to have a backlash eventually. Me, I'm much happier in the park.
Yeah, what I'm thinking about is, I mean, all these professional gamers, where do they go in the future? I mean, we're talking about these online games, and the games are here, they come, they go. They could be popular for one period, but they could be out just next month, next year. Where do they go? Are they going to play the games? I mean, maybe there could be new games coming out, but are they going to play these games on and on and on? That's it?
They might be gaining certain kind of skills that will be useful later on. We can't imagine what it would be, but who knows? I mean, even the skills. People who design these games are making an awful lot of money, right?
A lot.
And that's big bucks. And they got their skills by doing exactly what those kids are doing.
Or suddenly, just like Dominic said, maybe we're just too old to talk about these new professions, which are not new at all.
There's a dark side to it. You look at the guy recently who did the terrible massacre in Scandinavia. Where is that?
Iceland.
Norway.
Yeah, Breivik or something?
Yeah, I think it was Norway.
Norway, yeah.
And he said he practiced on, these kind of war games.
Yeah.
That's how he practiced to get ready, to get in focus.
Yep.
He was playing these war games all the time. And that's, that's a very dark side to it all. Is you've got a lot of kids, you go into an internet cafe in Beijing and you look around, everyone's playing the same game and they're all shooting each other.
That's right. Yeah.
And you think, well, really, what's the point of that?
This is really getting dark. You're all right. This is getting dark. But I mean, it's the modern warfare is getting more and more that way. Helicopters shooting things on the ground. It's like a video game.
Playing games.
Yeah, it is, right? I mean, that's what it is. All the American drones are based in North Carolina. And so there's guys in North Carolina blowing up people in Pakistan and Yemen, and then going pick up their kids from school.
There's a dehumanizing aspect to it. That's right.
Yeah,
Let's move away from those dark sides and take a break.
It's okay. All right. Let's take a break. I'll see you later.
Can I order some online counseling service? What is counseling?
Yeah, consolation service.
Can I order some online consolation services?
I'm sure we can organize something.
Now, let's take a break, and when we come back, we're going to continue our discussion from a different angle.
More cheery.
You're watching Crossover. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Crossover. So this time we're going to move away a little bit from that online games. What about this one? Here is a term. David, do you understand what it means? Internet mercenaries. Do you get an idea what it refers to?
Someone doing jobs merely for money online, unscrupulously, regardless of the morality of what they're doing. Is
Dominic,
Dominic,
what do you understand?
I see a mercenary as what I say, someone almost like an army figure who coming in to solve a problem for someone else in a ruthless fashion.
Yeah.
Right? That's what mercenaries do, isn't it? They fight for other people no matter who they are.
That's right.
Give me money, I'll fight for you.
Yeah, sort of. And we even, there is even one term actually created for this group of people, the the party of 50 cents.
Now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Now I know exactly what you're talking
So
about.
tell me what...
The 50-cent party.
Okay.
So these are people who are paid 50 cents to insert in bulletin boards and in chat rooms and things a certain message that someone has given them, you know, the money to do. It could be propaganda, it could be advertising, it could be whatever, right? And if you can prove or you show that you got that message into this system, into I guess it could even include Weibo, but I'm not sure. But into some message bulletin board or something, then you get 50 cents. So you sit around all day. If you can insert hundreds of messages.
It's like search engine optimization. Is basically what it is. It's about getting your message.
Not
It
quite.
could be in a bulletin, a chat room.
It's more direct. It's not optimization. It's actually physically inputting the message into something.
But by doing so, then the search engines search that.
That would be the result.
Yeah, the result is
That would
then,
be the result,
then you go up in the ranking.
That's right.
Yeah. There's a lot of that goes on. Yeah, there's plenty of companies in Beijing you can pay to do that kind of stuff.
Well, they're called the 50-cent party, but you know the price could be from 60 cents to 1 yuan for one message, and if it is a reply message, it could be 40 cents to 80 cents.
This exists in the U.S. as well, although I mean it's in lots of different forms. There are online experts now who they don't necessarily do it exactly that way, but this is part of promotional technique now, which is we say, okay, suppose you're an aspiring young singer or something, and you have some new songs or something like that. They'll say, okay, give us a certain amount of money. We know how to insinuate your music and your art into the cyber world. So in other words, like you say, optimize, search optimization.
So more people can hear it.
Yeah, or like putting fake fan messages and certain things that will attract attention with a link. And so they know how to do that very efficiently. And you pay the money, and it doesn't matter how good you are. That's why it's a mercenary. They don't care whether your singing is good or not. They just help you like boost your presence in the online
I think the mercenary is more about taking content away than adding content, is it not? I think
It's also one of their models, actually.
It's also one of their models. So the way I see a mercenary is someone who goes in and gets rid of something.
So what would be an example in the internet of taking something away?
So, for example, McDonald's...
A negative article?
Yes, yeah. McDonald's recently, the 15th of March, you know, they got exposed for having some food on the floor. Now, they can pay a company to go into Weibo and delete certain conversations that are going on so that people stop talking about it. Literally getting rid of those conversations.
By reaching a new deal, say we're going to invest, say, in advertisements maybe next year.
Yeah.
And in return, we are not only talking specifically about McDonald's. We're referring to all these...
Anybody.
Anybody,
Wants
any
to get rid of
companies.
bad news.
They do it in the U.S. There's a lot of political mercenary internet activity going on. For example, the Republican operatives will pay online gamers or online people to, for example, go on to left-wing websites and just get on the chat rooms and stuff and insert little messages, subversive messages in the chat room. Say things like, well, you know, didn't we hear that Obama, you know, there was some scandal with him getting some money? It's not true, of course. They just put it in there. And it's the same thing. You pay, if you can put that message in there, they'll pay them some money.
You know, just not long ago, actually, maybe a few years back, there was one sentence. All of a sudden, it became very hot on the internet. It's basically a sentence like, hey, someone, your mom is looking for you.
It's coming home for dinner.
Yeah. Now, the whole sentence is blah, 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 someone, your mom is expecting you to be home for dinner. And that's it. But all of a sudden, everyone is talking about this sentence. And it turned out to be like the name, the blah, 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 the name. That's the name of a character of an online game. That's once again, this is a promotion.
Promotional.
It's a viral kind of campaign, which obviously worked. You know, you want people to spread something virally because they find it funny or interesting or one thing or another. At the same time, it promotes your brand. Yeah, it's very clever.
We're going to show you some pictures of some very famous figures online. This is the one, beautiful girl. And she's called the fairy girl, fairy sister. It seems these pictures are taken just randomly, because according to the story that we can see online, it was a tourist traveling in Sichuan, and by chance he saw a beautiful girl, you know, still working, they're living in the remote areas and the mountainous areas in Sichuan, and somehow he just thought she's beautiful, and he decided to post all these pictures online, and all of a sudden she became famous. And the fairy sister, or the fairy girl, that's her nickname. And all of a sudden, overnight, she's like, this celebrity on the internet.
Huh.
Just a few pictures.
A few pictures, and all those, the messages in chat rooms, in bulletin, everything added up together to build this celebrity online. And now we know it's all a design. Oh. It's all a promotional activity. Mm-hmm. It's actually the so-called tourist. He's the one behind all this.
Mm. What was he promoting?
He's promoting the tourism of that area.
Oh,
okay.
So he tried to find some, novel ways to promote that area, the tourism of that area. And basically that area doesn't really have all these, the tourist sources that everyone knows about in the country. So what do you do? She is a model. She's a singer or a dancer actress from the professional acting troupe. And she's only invited to go over there to, make some poses and to be dressed.
So it's not really an innocent local native girl.
Not at all.
Funny enough, a similar thing happened with a hospital. I think it was down in Jiangsu, a private hospital, and they put a picture up on Weibo of a very good-looking Chinese guy on the train, on his thing, and again, just a whole section of pictures, and it's just like the best-looking doctor in Jiangsu, and he works at such and such and such a place. It went crazy, went everywhere. It was even on my Weibo. I saw it. Yeah. Everyone was talking about it. Yeah. It wasn't a doctor. It was just a model, an actor, and of course the hospital got so much attention, and everybody wanted to go there.
Yeah. Well, there's a thing happening here with these mercenaries and this thing. People are always trying to manipulate the internet, but in a certain sense, this viral thing we're talking about, where it goes viral. Yeah. In a way, everyone's trying for that anyway. Everyone's always been trying for that with advertisements, where they try to get a catchy slogan that everyone is using that slogan, right? It's kind of almost like a science. The difference now is that the big difference between the way it used to be and the way it is now is it used to be promulgated on the TV or the radio or billboards, and you would have to have people passively sort of looking at it, and then it would be passed in daily life. Now you have everyone connected to everyone else, so you can get this viral thing that happens almost in a few hours.
Everybody's sharing it.
Everyone's sharing it.
Yeah.
So, but there's a difference between something that happens spontaneously and then something that happens because you have smart people that are gaming the system, like gaming the search engines, optimizing the search engines. So it gets cluttered because there's some things that are genuinely appealing, like cute cats or something that suddenly everyone's sending to everyone else. Like the song Lao Shu Ai Dami, The Mouse Loves the Rice. That was this pop song that someone would just put on a site, and suddenly everyone was passing it out and it became a hit.